All right, let's just jump right in. We're going to talk about something that hits every single one of us at some point. How do you master your own mind when your whole routine just completely shatters? I mean, have you ever had that feeling, that stomach drop moment where one day everything's normal, predictable, and the next, it's like the floor has just vanished from under you? Could be anything, right? A job loss, a global event, a big move, whatever it is, it's just so disorienting.
And that's because when that outside structure collapses, our inside world, well, it tends to follow suit. The mind just starts to spiral. You get that chaos, that anxiety, that feeling of being completely out of control.
But what if I told you there's a blueprint for building an unshakable inner foundation? And get this, it's over 2,000 years old. So let's dig in and see how some really ancient wisdom can give us the tools we need right now.
Okay, so first things first, let's really get into this idea when your routine shatters. What we're really talking about here is that deep, gnawing anxiety that shows up when we lose our structure. And this is really the heart of the problem, isn't it? On one hand, you have that external structure we all lean on, the predictable, stable, secure stuff, and then poof, it's gone. And what fills that void? Internal chaos. We feel anxious, scattered, totally out of control. And that right there is the gap we need to figure out how to bridge. So the big question is, how do we bridge that gap? Well, the answer might just be hiding in this ancient mental blueprint. We're going to be pulling some wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita. And I want to be clear, we're looking at it not as a religious text, but as a super practical, hands-on guide for mastering your own mind. The first big idea comes from this really powerful verse. It says, "One must elevate oneself by one's own mind. The mind is the friend of the self, and the mind is the enemy of the self." Whoa. What that's basically saying is that at the end of the day, you are in the driver's seat of your own mind.
Okay, so if you're in the driver's seat, how do you actually, drive? Another verse gives us the technique, the how-to. It says that whenever that restless, unsteady mind wanders off, you just have to pull it back, bring it back under your control. It's all about that active, constant, repeated focus.
All right, let's really unpack that first idea. Your mind, is it your friend or is it your foe? And this isn't just some abstract philosophy, okay? This is a choice we are actively making, moment by moment, every single day. It's this core principle of self-upliftment. And the difference between these two modes is just night and day. You've got the enemy mind. That's the undisciplined one. It's where procrastination lives, where that negative self-talk echoes, where panic sets in. But then you've got the trained friend mind, and that's where you find creativity, courage, focus, and discipline. The key takeaway here is that you have the power to choose which one you're going to feed, which one you're going to cultivate. But of course, that begs the million-dollar question. How do you actually train it? How do you make your mind a friend? And that brings us to the actual technique of mindful focus, the how-to for taming that wild, wandering mind that, let's be honest, we all have. So there's actually an ancient term for this, and it's abhyasa, which just means repeated practice. But check out this definition. I love it. The patient, firm act of repeatedly bringing the mind back to its focus. The best way to think about it is like training a little puppy. The puppy's going to run off, right? It's what they do. You don't yell at it. You just gently, patiently bring it back again and again and again. That's abhyasa. Okay, so this whole idea of abhyasa is really powerful. But let's bring it into the 21st century. How do we actually apply this in our crazy modern lives? Well, you can think of it like a modern resilience workout. Basically, a daily gym session for your mind.
And this mental workout has a pretty simple 4-part regimen. Step 1, design a new routine. If the old one is gone, build a new one. Create your own structure. Step 2, practice mindful resets. Just little moments throughout the day to bring that puppy back. 3, actively reframe your self-talk. Catch that enemy mind and flip the script. And finally, number 4, aim for small wins. Just build that momentum, one little victory at a time. Now, this stuff isn't just for, personal wellness blogs. These same principles of resilience apply on a massive, massive scale. And for a really powerful real-world example, let's look at the story of India's space agency, ISRO, and their Chandrayaan moon missions. Their journey is just a perfect illustration of everything we're talking about. So, back in 2019, their Chandrayaan-2 mission, it failed right at the last second. A huge, very public setback. It would have been so easy for that enemy mind of despair and failure to take over, but they didn't let it. The entire organization practiced a kind of mindful refocus. They learned, they adapted, they kept bringing the puppy back. And in 2023, Chandrayaan-3 made a historic, flawless, successful landing. That is Abhyasa on a national scale. It's incredible.
You know, there's a fantastic analogy for why this practice is so important. It says meditation is like a flight simulator for the mind. Think about that. You're in a safe environment, practicing how to handle all the little internal distractions and emergencies so that when a real crisis hits, you don't panic. You default to your training. You respond with deliberate calm.
So, when you put this all together, what's the ultimate goal? What are we trying to do here? It's about becoming your own anchor. It's about forging an inner foundation that's so strong, you're just not at the mercy of whatever chaos the outside world throws at you. So if you're going to take away just 3 things from all this, let it be these. 3 keys to a resilient mind. Number 1, self-discipline, using your higher-level thinking to overrule that lazy, scared part of your brain. Number 2, mindfulness, practicing those conscious resets to literally build your attention muscle. And number 3, and this one is crucial, self-compassion. You have to be your own coach, not your own critic. Gently guide yourself back when you slip up.
And this all leads to maybe the most powerful shift in perspective you can have. You start to see the collapse of a routine not as some terrible crisis, but as an opportunity. It's the forge. It's the fire where you can actually temper your mind and shape it into this incredibly resilient, creative force. So I'll leave you with this thought. Disruption, it's inevitable. Life is going to throw you another curveball. Another routine is going to shatter. That's a guarantee. The only real question left is, how are you going to train your mind to be ready for it?